Hey guys, welcome back to Reserved Investments, and today you get Jim Fresh Sean talking about Beanie Babies. Now before you turn this video off and discuss, you tell me, Sean, I don't want to learn about Beanie Babies. I don't care about Beanie Babies. We know they were a fad from the 1990s. You need to understand that a lot of the markets in the overall antiques and collectibles trade, especially in the year 2021, do borrow elements from what occurred in the 1990s with Beanie Babies. That does not mean, and I want to make this very clear, that I am comparing Pokemon or video games or Magic the Gathering or rare coins or high-end pieces of art or fine wine or Rolex watches with that of Beanie Babies. But you need to understand that the concepts and the fundamentals that brought Beanie Babies to life in the 1990s and made them a quote-unquote thing are some of the same fundamentals that slick marketers, slick manufacturers, and even slick auction houses are using to promote some of the most popular collectibles and even certain antiques in the year 2021. So this is a good fundamental video for me to teach you guys all about speculation, mass-produced scarcity, and hype, and how these elements come together and form a speculative asset bubble. Now, before we go any further, I need to put my glasses on because I'm going to be reading the screen, and since I just came from the gym, I do not have contact lenses in. So, allow me to put my glasses on, and we can get down to business here. The first thing you need to know about any speculative asset, any alternate asset, I don't care if it's cryptocurrency. I don't care if it's Beanie Babies. I don't care if it's Pokemon cards. I don't care if it's Lego sets. I don't care if it's rare coins. I don't care if it's Rolex or Hermes Birkin bags. To make a profit on an investment or a commodity, someone in the future must be willing to pay more than you paid. If the biggest reason bringing people into the market and driving a price upward is price speculation and the hope of future profits, then it is very likely an asset bubble. Be very cautious of price bubbles. I don't care what anybody tells you. In the year 2021, cryptocurrency is just as speculative as Beanie Babies and .com stocks. If you cannot see that, you do not understand finance. You do not understand asset price bubbles, you do not understand speculative mania, and you do not understand economics. I'm not saying that Bitcoin's going to go to zero overnight. I'm not saying that Dogecoin is going to go to zero overnight, but let's be realistic. If Dogecoin did go to zero, it would be well deserved given the fact that that was pretty much a joke of a cryptocurrency that pretty much made it big time through all the hype and market mania of internet people hanging out on message boards, on Wall Street bets, on some of these back internet finance forums. They made Dogecoin a thing. In the year 2021, yeah, it is unfortunately a thing. So is Bitcoin. We just got to see where a lot of this goes. But just understand, if I was talking to you, if YouTube was a thing back in 1996, 1997, 1998, and I brought up pets.com, I brought up eToys, a lot of you guys watching this video would tell me, Sean, that's a fundamental, core, solid investment. There's no speculation in eToys or pets.com. The fundamentals are there. I'm sorry. History tells us the fundamentals weren't there. And I, for one, back in the 1990s, was not putting my money in internet stocks. Now, if you want to mock me because I missed out on eBay, Amazon, and PayPal, let me know in the comment section below. Because for every Amazon, eBay, and PayPal that came out of the 1990s, there were, of course, pets.com, gardens.com, sand.com. Yes, believe it or not, that was a thing. eToys.com, and so many other companies that just came out of the woodwork, added .com to their particular name, went public, and their valuation was in the hundreds of millions of dollars. It was insane. Now, we're not here to talk about internet stocks from the 1990s. We're also not here to talk about cryptocurrency. But what I am saying is, all of these markets started with the same ideas, the same fundamentals, and they became extremely speculative. And again, to make a profit on an investment or a commodity, please understand that someone in the future must be willing to pay more than you paid. Price bubbles, asset price bubbles, are almost always closely tied to human psychology. And this is something that you got to learn. That's why there's something called behavioral finance, behavioral economics. I talk an awful lot about this on this particular channel. It's the same reason why people stay in toxic relationships, why people don't understand the sunk cost fallacy, opportunity costs, and the like. And if you're wondering, I'm not going to define these terms in this video because this whole channel, I've been defining these terms time and time again. So if you go back and watch any of my previous videos, especially the videos on mass-produced scarcity and any type of economic term or finance ideology, you're bound to come across those particular terms. Now, let's talk a little bit about what happened in the 1990s. In 1993, Beanie Babies were released by Ty. Ty was the company that produced Beanie Babies, and almost overnight, it made the creator of Beanie Babies pretty much a billionaire. He is on the billionaire list. Now, what happened was Ty, the creator of Beanie Babies, knew that the best way to market this product was to use something called mass-produced scarcity. Anytime you look at a collectible, a modern era collectible, and you hear terms like limited, retired, scarce, hard to find, rare, a lot of these terms are being drummed up by the manufacturers of those products, the distributors of those products. Even auction companies are now getting in on this a little bit. I'm going to have a video on that, so I'm not going to go down that path in this video. But what I will tell you is these particular terms are used to actually create demand. Anytime you hear this limited amiibo, this limited Funko Pop, this almost retired Lego set, you better believe there are Timmys, Kimmys, and Poindexters out there that'll be rushing out to get it because it is considered a quote-unquote scarce commodity, regardless of the fact that the manufacturer limited a lot of the quantities of that product onto the market just simply so that they could create that demand hysteria. Now, this is what a lot of people get wrong about the Beanie Baby bubble. And say that 10 times fast. Beanie Baby bubble, or my favorite, Beanie Baby bubble burst. Beanie Baby bubble burst is harder to say than Beanie Baby bubble. Make no mistake, because there's a fourth B in that particular sentence. Now, getting back to this, a lot of people ask me, well, Sean, how long did the Beanie Baby craze last? For the record, the Beanie Baby craze lasted almost 7 years. It started in 1993, and believe it or not, the bubble just about popped right before the year 2000. So if, again, we were to get in a DeLorean time machine and we had YouTube back around 1995, 1996, 1997, and I was hosting this video then, you guys would be coming into the comment section, some of you, not all of you, and if I were to tell you that the Beanie Baby bubble was about to burst, you would not believe me. You'd be arguing in the comment section, Sean, you don't understand. It's been going strong since 1993. This is a thing. You're not going to be able to change that. Look at the sales numbers. Look at how much some of these Beanie Babies are selling for on the secondary market. And I really hate to say this, but I guarantee that a lot of you guys in a lot of these Pokemon forums and chat rooms, a lot of you guys that are into cryptocurrency, if you're in your 20s and you have no understanding of price asset bubbles and manias and speculative euphorias, you would have most likely fallen for this back in the 1990s. The most famous critic of the Beanie Baby bubble, believe it or not, was collectibles expert Harry Rinker. And at the time, when I started to know his work, when I started to become familiar with his work, I agreed with 100% of his analysis. And he would get into a lot of heated discussions with Beanie Baby collectors, investors, speculators, all thinking that this particular market was going to be a force to be reckoned with throughout the next several decades, if not longer. All of them were proven wrong. For the record, the Beanie Baby bubble started in 1993, and by the time the year 2000 rolled around, the new millennium, it was pretty much already running its course. Now, in 1999, Ty did make an announcement that he was going to stop production on all the Beanie Babies. But when he did that, you kind of have to look at why he did that. When he did that, it was because demand was falling for a lot of these little stuffed toys. So he already saw the writing on the wall, and he kind of wanted to create more of a frenzy so that he could pretty much sell out of the remaining supply. Now, to be fair, in the year 2021, present day, there are Beanie Babies that are still being produced. You can go into a Hallmark Gold Crown store. I believe certain pharmacies sell some of these. Other retailers do stock them. I don't know if they're called Beanie Babies still, but I do know that Ty does make plush toys still to this very day in the year 2021. Now, the question that I get asked is, Sean, I'm going on eBay, I'm searching completed auctions, and I'm noticing that there's some crazy prices being paid for some of these Beanie Babies, especially some of the ones that came out in 1993, 1994, the early ones that we know, due to mass-produced scarcity, they were never reproduced, and they were truly made in quote-unquote limited quantities. What's going on, Sean? What's your analysis of this market? Well, if you guys recall, several months ago, I did a video entitled The Life Cycle of the Average Collectible. And in that video, I stated that once pretty much mania, once almost nostalgia wears off on any collecting category, that particular market reverts back to the true collectors. The people that really love it, the people that just want to own it, and they're not trying to invest in it. So what's happening right now in the year 2021 with Beanie Babies is you have two components. There are people, unethical individuals, that are trying to manipulate the market. And what they're doing is they're going after some of these earlier Beanie Babies that they either had in their possession or they were able to buy fairly cheaply on the secondary market. And they're creating fake auction listings on eBay. And they're putting the price at like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, hoping that Beanie Babies become a thing again. On the other side of the spectrum, you actually do have certain individuals that know, okay, this isn't going to be a great investment into the future, most likely, but I have a passion for this particular collectible. I'm going on eBay. I'm buying it. I'm going to add it to my collection. I don't mind if I don't get my money back as a result of paying, 10, 20, 50, maybe $100 for some of these stuffed toys. So there are pretty much both components at play here. Now, what's really going to be an interesting test for Beanie Babies is, remember, Beanie Babies came out in the year 1993. In the year 2023, Beanie Babies are now going to be 30 years old. This is prime nostalgia for this particular market. Now, make no mistake, again, Beanie Babies came on the scene through mass-produced scarcity. Just like Pogs. If you want to study another collecting phenomenon from the 1990s, study Pogs. Those markets are very similar. It'll be very interesting to see if we do see a legitimate run-up in prices for some of these vintage Beanie Babies. Now, personally, if you want my opinion, I would not go near this market with a 10-foot pole spending your money, let alone my own. So this is not a market for me. Again, Beanie Babies are rooted in mass-produced scarcity, and if they do come back, it would be due to a quick hiccup of nostalgia. These are not historic artifacts. There's nothing credible about this particular collectible. It's just something that came and went, and because a lot of the Timmies, Kimmies, and Poindexters back in the 1990s couldn't recognize the fad, they're hoping, a lot of the market manipulators that are operating in this market, that a lot of you guys out there are going to fall for it again. And I assure you, there are people that are buying up Beanie Babies at yard sales, flea markets, antique fairs. They're paying 50 cents, $1, maybe in some cases $5 to $10 for some of the more quote-unquote scarce ones. And they're hoping that this takes off because then they can start listing their particular stock items that they have in their possession on eBay for exorbitant prices. Now, it's very scary as to what's happening in the overall collectibles marketplace in the year 2021. There are a lot of collectibles that are literally getting run up by speculators, investors, collectors, Timmies, Kimmies, and Poindexters and the like. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens to these markets going forward. My final advice in this video, if you are somebody that sees opportunity in this market, please use extreme caution. There is no guarantee that collectors, speculators, and investors are going to flock back to this market, especially if they were burned back in 1999, year 2000, by holding a lot of these plush toys. You know, again, the second speculative bubble that occurred in the 1990s was dot-com stocks. If you guys really want to learn about asset bubbles, if you guys really want to learn why I teach extreme caution in a lot of these markets, study not only the Beanie Baby bubble, but get some books and start studying what happened with dot-com stocks in the 1990s, guys. A lot of you people out there that tell me I'm nuts for not riding the wave on cryptocurrency. If you're buying cryptocurrency and you're holding it for the long term, you better be well versed on what happened in the 1990s with dot-com stocks. What happened with the NASDAQ overall? What happened with a lot of fund companies that were investing heavily in a lot of these dot-com stocks? A lot of those companies, as you know, are not with us today in the year 2021. So all what I'm saying is, I know that I take a cautious approach to a lot of these markets. I do that on purpose, guys, because all of these markets borrow elements from other collecting categories. And again, I don't care if you collect Pokemon cards. I don't care if you collect Pez dispensers. I don't care if you invest in rare coins. You must understand what occurred in the 1990s with Beanie Babies so that you can analyze these markets properly and just be made aware of what happens when human psychology meets market speculation. That's the end of this video. I hope you got something out of this. If you want me to expand on any of these concepts, if you want me to do a follow-up to this video, let me know in the comment section below. Thank you and have a great night. I got to do something with my hair.